Yesterday, the Federal Reserve decided to raise interest rates by 75 basis points. This is the second consecutive time that they've raised the interest rate by such an aggressive measure. If we go back to November of last year, we had inflation teeing around 7%, and the Federal Reserve started to talk aggressively, saying that they needed to destroy demand and bring the market back into a more rational zone. A lot of folks didn't believe them, but the Federal Reserve has now done multiple interest rate hikes, and they've started to conduct quantitative tightening in order to make financial conditions something that will bring the high inflation down. Now, raising interest rates by 75 basis points is not something that they were anticipating at the end of Q1 of this year. But now, here we are, and they've done it 2 different times. If we look at the coverage, we can see that folks are openly discussing that the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates by 75 basis points specifically to tamp down runaway inflation without creating a recession. Jerome Powell had some choice words. He said that as the stance of monetary policy tightens further, it will likely become appropriate to slow the pace of increases while we assess how our cumulative policy adjustments are affecting the economy and inflation. Of course, this brings up the topic of a recession. And according to the FOMC, they say that recent indicators of spending and production have softened. Nonetheless, job gains have been robust in recent months, and the unemployment rate has remained low. Jerome Powell also confirming that he does not believe we are in a recession. He said, think what a recession is. It's a broad-based decline across many industries that sustained more than a couple of months. This doesn't seem like that now. The real reason is the labor market has been such a strong signal of economic strength that it makes you question the GDP data. Now, that is absolutely incredible to see the chairman of the Federal Reserve openly stating that he is questioning the GDP data. What does he know that we don't know? We're supposed to look at the GDP data and have confidence in it. But we have the leader of the central bank saying that maybe we shouldn't take it at face value. Regardless of what they say, just look at the data. 2 consecutive negative growth quarters of GDP. We are in a recession. The Federal Reserve was conducting asset purchases and holding interest rates artificially low when inflation was over 7%. They finally realized they had to destroy demand and try to address the inflation. And now we are in a Fed-induced recession. They have been hiking interest rates as we move into that recession. Sure, employment is strong right now, and consumer spending is still growing. But we're seeing early signs, hiring freezes, layoffs, and consumers starting to psychologically realize the recession is on the horizon. Over the coming months, my guess is that this data is going to turn, and we will see more and more data points confirming that we in fact are in a recession. The Federal Reserve is going to have to pivot. They cannot continue to take an aggressive quantitative tightening stance. We have to get relief to the market, or else we risk going into a severe recession and potentially a depression. Now, I don't think that that's likely to happen because I think the Fed will pivot. I think we will return to loose monetary policy. That is the macro structure in which the economy is built to survive on. Ultimately, you just simply have to survive the coming months until the Fed waves that white flag. Loose monetary policy will make a return. In some cases, it may come back with a vengeance. Until then, the Fed's in control. It's all one big trade. And right now, the U.S. economy is in a recession. And until the Fed pivots, we're not coming out of it.